in this keynote, we're going to be talking about a very important topic when it comes to the advertising world, and especially if you want to sell things online, which is how to make ad creatives at scale in 2025. And this topic is becoming more and more important. It was not the case when I just got started in the performance marketing world in 2019. Back then, things were easier, honestly, because you didn't really have to have the best creatives. You didn't have to have like a very deep analysis of your audience and do like deep research on all of that, because the platforms, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, or any other, did most of the heavy lifting. So targeting was way much easier. You could just tell Facebook, for example, I want to target this interest. Let's say you're selling something like you're selling a headphone or something, and you want to target people who are really interested in buying headphones right now. You could exactly target that. But in 2021, Apple decided to make an update. It was the iOS 14.5. And since then, our life became way much harder. Like, it's a big topic, but it has a lot to do with the privacy and the cookies tracking and user tracking across the different apps. And when you updated your iPhone in 2021, you were asked if you want to opt in for the tracking of the other apps or not. And most users said that they don't want to get tracked. And since then, the tracking became very ineffective. And our only way to target our ideal customer was since then to start focusing more on ad creators. So basically just like the old days on TV, on magazine, and all these methods back then, that your only way to target your audience was through your messaging, through your targeting, with your creatives, ad copies, etc. So now we're going to start with this most important question. So what you will take away from this keynote. So as I said, I really put a lot of information in this and a lot of value, all my years of experience in performance marketing. So you will have a powerful edge in the advertising space. You will learn how to create ads that win on social media, scale your brand, and potentially make you more money. Most advertisers don't know about these things, which is very surprising. I know people who are in the performance marketing spaces years, and when I try to understand how they analyze creatives, how they make creatives, I'm always shocked, most people, that they don't know about these things. So if you know now these things, then you already have a competitive advantage, because most advertisers and brand owners, they don't know how to utilize them, or they don't just know a surface based information. Before we get started, a quick information about me. So for those who don't know me, I see a lot of new faces here today, which is amazing. So my name is Amjad Sadek, and in the last few years, I've helped over 50 brands scale to 7 and 8 figures. And I managed over 30 million spent on ads, and I've generated more than $100 million in revenue for my clients. These are some of the clients I worked with. Most of them are 7 and 8 figures brands. You might know a couple of them, but yeah, that's enough about me. And let's get straight now to the keynote. We're going to be talking about the following. So first of all, why you should spend 70% of your time on ad creatives, which is something we already now talked a bit about it. Things to keep in mind before you get started: strategic foundations, initial deep research and planning, testing and scaling, and how to analyze your ad creatives pro. And then lastly, we'll have a Q&A. So if you have any questions in between, make sure to note them down, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. So why you should spend 70% of your time on ad creatives. The first reason we already mentioned, interest targeting, lookalike audiences, and all these advanced targeting options, they are not really available that much anymore. You can still utilize them, but they are not that efficient. So now your only way to target your audience is with creatives, and then your ad creatives are your salesperson. So if you think about it like this, each creative you make, it's one salesperson that you send to your prospect, and this salesperson will try to convince your prospects to buy. And yeah, that's the best way to look at it these days, as now the targeting options are not that efficient anymore. And then the success of scaling your brand online heavily depends on ad creators. So all these brands I showed you a few minutes later, they scale to 7 and 8 figures only, or not only, to say only is not fair, but 70% of the reason why they were able to scale this fast and to these high numbers was because they were focusing on ad creatives. So things to keep in mind before you get started. This is very crucial, because you might be making these mistakes without you knowing about that. And I see a lot of advertisers, brand owners doing that. And it always comes in the first place in every ad account or every brand I get to work with. So the first thing is, since you're selling on social media and not Amazon or Google, you need to keep in mind that people are on social media not because they want to buy something. They are there just to waste time, basically, or get inspired, or see their favorite influencers, what did they post, and see what their friends are posting, etc. But they don't want to actually buy something. They're not going the intent to buy anything on social media. Unlike on Amazon or Google, people are going there with a card in their hand, so they want to buy something. For that reason, we really want to make sure that we make ad creatives that people actually want to watch. Because also, if you think about it, these platforms like YouTube, for example, they're even offering their users to pay to stop seeing the ads. So people are willing to pay money to stop seeing your ads. So if we make ad creatives that people actually want to watch, then they will forget about that that it's like an ad right now, what they are seeing, and get to watch it more, and they will feel resonated with it, and hopefully they will click and buy. If you don't have a product market fit and a strong offer, good creators won't help that much. So for that reason, it's very important that you have these two fundamental stuff in place. Because at the end of the day, the main goal of ads is to capture the audience attention, spark their interest, and drive audience off the platform onto your site. Of course, you want your creatives to sell as well, but your first goal with the creatives is to get people out of the platform and land on your page. And when they land on your page and they see that you don't have a good offer, like a no-brainer offer, or like they don't see the value proposition very well communicated on your site, they will not buy. The same thing with the market, with the product market fit. They might click because they are curious to see what it's all about. But if they come on your site and they see there's no benefit for them of buying the product, then they will not buy. Make your ads more about them and less about you. So focus less on features and more about benefits. I think this is basic. And then the less aware your audience is, the more your creators should prioritize education and storytelling. We will talk a lot about this point because this is one of the important things here. Most of ad creators are between 30 seconds to 1 minute long. The whole part of your ad will make or break your ad creator's performance. Because getting people attention these days is harder than ever. So that's why the hook of your ad is extremely important. You could have the best video or like an ad, but if your ad hook is bad, then no one will stick around to the rest. And the hook, by the way, is the first few seconds of your video, like the first 3 seconds to be exact. And yeah. So now we will start with the strategic foundation, initial deep research. This is one of the most important things. I would put time on it, because if you don't have this right, you will be always shooting in the dark and not really knowing if your audience is actually interested in what you're saying, and what claims you're using in your ads, etc. So always start with this. Spend like hours or even days trying to answer all these questions. Questions like who's my ideal customer and what they care about, what's their opinions and desires, what emotions drive them to buy, for example, confidence, frustration, fear, excitement, etc. We're gonna get more into examples, so you will know exactly what I'm talking about. What objections might they have, and how can I address them? What have they tried before that didn't work? What are they considering to try now? Competitors research. So take a look at their ad creators, claims, offers, etc. So you know what they're doing and what you can do different, so you can position yourself differently in the market. Of course, ad accounts learnings. If you have any learnings in the account, always take a look at them. And then existing customer survey. This is like really big, and I see most brand owners don't really focus on that, or like they just neglect. But this is like treasure. It's really very important things that sometimes I'm going to show you now an example where if you send that, you will come up with answers from your audience, like your customers, that you might think, oh, wow, okay, they're buying my product because of that. But actually in the initial plan, what you researched at the very beginning, you thought they are buying for a totally different reason, but they're telling you something else. Just like here, if you see, last week we made a poll on the WhatsApp channel or the chat, asking you guys what topic you would be more interested in. First one was how to run Facebook ads in 2025. Second one, how to scale from 6 figures to 7 figures. And then the last one was how to make ad creators that scale. To be honest, I really thought that most of you guys will answer the first thing, the first option. So how to run Facebook ads in 2025, based on what I know and what questions I got from you guys in the last month, and also during events, etc. But it was totally the opposite. So if I have made a keynote on this topic, it might not really resonate with what you guys need right now. And the same thing you can apply for your customers. You can know exactly what they want, why they're buying, etc. And based on that, you can make ad creatives. This example here, you can see, so this brand was already scaling. We started working with them beginning of 2020, 24, something like that, in March or something. And as you can see, the scale was fine. And then we sent here a survey, and they had like a big amount of customers. We sent a survey asking people why they actually bought the product, what pains they had, and why they chose us in comparison to other brands out there. And based on that, we made ad creators. And one of the angles that we found really skyrocketed. As you can see, like the amount of sales we managed to make from almost like May to June, this spike was heavily dependent on that new angle we discovered based on that survey. Of course, there was also a couple of other reasons, so media buying, some offer tweaks, etc. But one of the biggest reasons was this new angle we discovered through this survey. And as you can see, since then, we were even like able to scale more and more based on that specific angle we found. So tools to use for research, the one we all know is ChatGPT. I don't really recommend that you start with it because if you don't know anything about your customers yet, and you start asking ChatGPT, then you will get very generic answers, and you might put your strategy based on that. That's why I always start with all these other stuff like Amazon reviews, competitors' websites reviews, Typeform to send surveys, the service you get from your customers, YouTube comments, Reddit, Facebook ads library. There's also like a website called Answer the Public where you can see like what questions people have, etc. And you can know exactly what people are looking for. And my favorite tool is try Atrium. I'm not like affiliate or anything, but this tool is crazy, guys. Like you can see exactly what your competitors are doing, what ad angles are they using, what emotions they're using in their ads the most, what hooks, what's working for them the best, etc. It's a little bit pricey, but you don't necessarily have to start with it. But if you want to go to the next level research, then I really recommend using it. If not, then you can go with the ads library and just like try to find what your competitors are running on ads and filter by the date of launch. And you can assume, okay, if the ad's been live since a long time, then you can tell, okay, this ad is doing well, and that's why they still have it live. So now we'll go to the planning part. So the planning part is always 2 steps. The first one is identify the awareness level you want to focus on. The second one is the ideation. The first one, which is again, identify the awareness level you want to focus on. Like this is also one of the most important things that most people don't know about, or like they just know a little bit about it. And actually, if you understand it very well, then you will be able to make creatives that really resonate with your customers and make them buy. So don't worry, if you never seen this before, I'm going to show you now more examples and more details, so it's going to get more clear. So the awareness spectrum helps us craft ad creatives and copies based on how much our audience know about their problem, solution, and also our brand. So by understanding this, we can tailor ad angles, messaging that resonate deeply with our audience, making them feel understood and ensuring we deliver the right message for maximum impact. By the way, if your product doesn't solve a problem, so in that case, you need to focus more on the desires, emotions. So what motivates people to buy, like aesthetic, status, and prestige, because these are the real drivers of purchase decisions for like product, let's say a bracelet or like a t-shirt or something like that. But if a product solves a problem, then I'm going to show you how to use this awareness stages. So by the way, most of our time we want to spend on problem aware, solution aware, and product aware, because here we have the warm audience that are most likely will buy. Here we have people who don't know anything yet about us, or like they don't know even that they have a problem. So we can start focusing on this stage when we want to really scale more aggressive, or like we already finished all the people in this and these awarenesses, then we want to unlock the like full scale, and then we will get into that. But that's actually like for if you want to scale beyond like 9 figures, like that's where you actually want to start getting into that. So now the first awareness is the unaware, where I told you guys like we don't really want to focus on that, and you will understand now why. Because this audience is called audience, they don't know they have a problem. So their current status quo is that they are not actively looking for a solution because they don't even realize that they have a problem. Our goal here is to create curiosity, spark awareness of the problem. For example, in anti-hair loss product, here the audience, they are losing hair, but they haven't really noticed or don't know what's happening. Like they're not just like noticing a bit, but it's not really a big deal for them. So that's why they're not really problem aware. Example, like noticing more hair in your shower drain, you might be ignoring an early warning sign. So this is a very, very top of the funnel messaging. When compared to the other awareness stages, you will see now the big difference. So here, the problem aware, they know they have a problem, but not the solution. So their current status quo, they feel the pain, but don't know what solution exists. Our goal is to emphasize the pain point and introduce a solution, show how the problem affects them and why solving it really matters. And that hair loss thing, they now realize they are losing hair and start feeling the urgency to fix it. An example of messaging can be thinning hair is not just a genetics, it could be a stress diet or even the shampoo you're using. But here's the truth, once it's gone, it's hard to get it back. So the longer you wait, if fewer options you have, here we're trying to agitate on that pain point and the problem they have. So they became more problem aware. They're already problem aware, but they see that now as a really big deal. And then we can introduce our product and make them a solution aware. And the solution aware stage is that they know solutions exist, but haven't chosen one yet. So they're actively looking for a solution, but haven't decided which product or brand is the best. The main goal for us here is to position our product as the best choice for them. That hair example, they want to fix and are looking for the best way to stop hair loss. So an example of messaging can be here, science-backed ingredients like biotin, caffeine, and peptides, I think it's called, can help restore hair growth. And then we have the product aware. So they know your product, you know your brand exists, and now they are still not sure if they want to buy it or not. They're considering a couple of options. So our goal here is to overcome their objections. So focus on the trust, minimize the risk, and put some urgency. Example, it can be like 90 days money back guarantee, 100,000 plus happy customers, etc. I'm going to show you now an example of the 9A2. So if we take that as a product, I see Ben now is getting closer to the camera. So we have here the target audience is young founders. And if you want to look at the awareness stages, the first one is unaware. So the messaging can be, there's a myth that to be successful entrepreneur, you have to do it alone, lock yourself away, grind endlessly, and figure everything out yourself. So here we're trying to target those people who young founders, but they don't know that they have a problem. Like they don't see that working alone is a problem. They don't really care that much about that. But here in the problem aware, so entrepreneurship is a lonely road, but it doesn't have to be. Late nights, tough decisions, and no one who truly gets it, even wins feel empty. The most successful founders don't do it alone. They surround themselves with the right people to maybe can include like a benefit to grow faster or whatever. And then we have the solution aware. Can be like here, we know people already, they know they have a problem and they know that there's a solution in the market, like masterminds, inner circles, and all these kind of things. So a messaging can be sick of paying thousands for events filled with upsells, fluff, surface living, networking. What if you could skip the BS and connect with 100+ elite entrepreneurs in an invite-only club without paying a member fee? So this kind of messaging will resonate with people who are already looking for a solution for their problem. They already know there are solutions in the market, but still not sure which one to choose. And here we already are handling their objections. So we're talking to them in a way that we know your pains, we know what you tried before, and we're asking a question like, what if you had this without paying a membership fee? A product aware, it can be like something like A2 Private Club, the network built for high-level founders, access to 7 and 8 figures founders, private luxury retreats with industry leaders. Every member is carefully hand-selected. So he's more like focused on the main benefits you will get from joining and what makes the 982 different, etc. Here's also a quick example also like of a noise canceling headphones. Unaware, it can be like you won't believe how much noise ruins your focus. Problem aware, struggling to concentrate. These headphones block out distractions. Solution aware, not all noise canceling headphones are the same. Here's what to look for. And then product aware, only 5 left in stock, get 20% off today. By the way, we can always like include a different awareness levels in the same ad. And in that case, we call it a full funnel creative. So we can have something that like a long form ad that starts with a problem aware. So just like this message, and then we go to this message, and then we show the people what's our product, and we make them product aware. Here's a quick recap. So what we talked about so far. So we know why 70% to 70% of our focus should be on ad creatives. We made the research and we know our audience very well. We decided on which awareness stage we want to focus on. Now we will have the step 2, which is the ideation. And I can tell you like from experience, all ads that really skilled like brands to the next level, just like the one I showed you earlier, had like all these 4 components, like in these 4 levels. So let's call it like a framework I always use for all the creators to make them scalable. First thing is we need to have an ad angle in the ad. We need to have a hook, and then we have to have emotion and also an ad theme. We're gonna get more in details, but before we get into that, in your hook part, try always to include something or say something that sparks curiosity, because humans are naturally curious. So use that to your advantage. It always, like 90% of the time, it works really well and gets you like higher hook rates if you include something that spikes curiosity. So an ad angle, that it's for those who don't know what ad angle is the unique perspective or approach used to present a product in an ad. And it defines how you communicate the value proposition to a specific audience in a way that resonates with their needs, emotions, and desires. For example, like headphones, noise canceling escape, it can be an angle, and we can use that messaging with something like focus like never before with a premium noise cancellation. Or another angle can be a superior sound quality, and the messaging can be experience music the way artists intended, or like studio quality sound now in your pocket, something like that. And then the hook is the first few seconds of the ad that grab attention and stop the scroll. Emotion is the feeling that the ad triggers to connect with the audience: trust, hope, self-reward, social validation, etc. Because here, like this is so important, because at the end of the day, people buy with emotion and justify the price and the entire product, their entire purchase with logic. Let's say, like for example, why people buy like a 5K channel bag. They're buying that not because the quality itself. They're buying that based on like emotions. What emotions they will get, or like they started to feel when they seal this bag. Emotions like self-reward, social validation, status, and all these kind of things. And then they justify the price with logic. Like they say, okay, I've worked so hard, so I deserve something like this to buy for myself. Or like the quality is awesome, so it's yeah, it's a good idea to buy it. It will hold for a long time. Or like it's an investment, I can sell it later. But actually they bought because the emotion they get from the product and nothing else. And then lastly, we have the ad theme. So the main storytelling style or structure of the ad, for example, problem solution, social proof testimonials, or like transformation before and after, and all these kind of things. I'm going to show you now an example. But before we get into that, or I think now it's the example. Oh, yes. So this is, again, going back to that product, the hair growth serum. And we know that the awareness stage is solution aware. So people already, they know have a problem. They know there are tons of solutions out there in the market, like different shampoos, surgeries, medicines, etc. But they are still not sure which one to choose, or maybe they've tried many things before and nothing really worked. So they're really solution aware. They know that some things exist for their problem. So an ad angle can be a science-backed formula with an expert view. So that's based on research. We know that the target audience value science-backed formula because they tried many things before, nothing really worked. So they want something that that's really is science-backed and not just like a cream they sell on TikTok or something like that, like shampoo. The hook here, we also like separate hooks in two parts. The first part is the script, and then we have the visual. The script in this case can be like considering a hair transplant or shaving it all off. By the way, starting your ad with a question is always a good idea because when you ask someone a question, whether in real life or on social media, the brain automatically tend to answer that question. So you automatically will hold their attention, or like get their attention, and then that will improve your hook rate. And then the visual, we want to show a man with a post-hair transplant with a visible red scalp just to catch attention. Emotion here, we will use hope because we know it's big emotion why people buy these kind of products. They are buying with the hope to get find a natural way to restore their hair. And the ad theme, we will use problem solution with an expert view. So after we've made all of that, so now we made the research, we decided the awareness stage we want to focus on. We filled these four things. The final results can look like something like this. This is not like an ad I've made or something, but I really want to show you it because it's really good. I don't know if you will be able to listen what being said here, but there's subtitles, so feel free to read them. Yeah. So as you can see, guys, they made the ad entirely based on research, like really deep research. You can tell that they know their audience very well. They choose the right awareness stage. Everything's perfect about this ad. I really love it. And these guys do really amazing ads. Feel free to check them out, like their ad library. You have tons of good stuff there. But yeah, this is the idea I wanted to show you guys here, like how you can take the entire thing from initial deep research to choosing a awareness stage to finding the angle and to have these four components in one ad and how the entire thing can look like. And yeah, now we after we do that, like let's assume we already made that ad, then now we want to get into the testing and scaling. This is going to be a simplified version because if I'm going to get more in details in every step in this here, it's going to be like a very long keynote. We can make something maybe in the future only about this, but let me show you how everything here can look like. So for those who already know how the ad account usually looks like, we have three campaigns level. And I tried to make it in a very simple way for also for you guys. If you've never seen the ad account before and you're just getting started, you always have these three things. So campaigns level, ads level, and then ad sets level, and then the ads level. And the campaigns level here where you choose what you want to do in this campaign. In our case, we want to start testing. So I always start with an ABO testing campaign. ABO stands for ad set budget optimization. So I'm telling Facebook or TikTok or whatever platform I'm using, I want to select the exact budget I want to spend on each test because they have also the other option, which is called CBO, where you let Facebook decide where to spend your budget. But I always go with the ABO because you can have more control over the things. And let's say you're testing that ad we just created. you start with one ad set. Okay, this targeting here is the bad example, but let's say it's one ad set, and then you can select men, or like yes, men, and from 25 to 40 years old. And then here, as I mentioned at the beginning of this keynote, targeting is not that efficient anymore. You can try always to go with interest targeting and look like audiences at these kind of things, but from experience, I can tell you, like especially in the last 2 years, going with broad targeting is always the best solution, and it works the best and it's more scalable. And here we have the angle, like in this case, it's effortless beauty routine. But if we are gonna make the angle based on what I showed you in a bit, earlier, it will be that science-backed formula. And then we put the budget on how much you want to test, put budget on this specific test. I always start with something from $50 to $100. You don't have to start with that. You can start with less than that. But the more, like the less your budget is, the longer you have to wait to know if your creatives are working, or like this idea is working or not. And then you have the ads level here. So you have this angle, and then you have different style of that ad. Let's say you have a before and after, and then you have a testimonial, and then you have a showcase. Or like you might have the same exact ad, but with different hooks, like different 3 seconds of the video. You can have like 3 to 5 pieces of them and launch them under that specific ad and launch the entire campaign. And later, if you decide to launch anything else, you just make a new ad set under this new testing campaign, and that's how things go. By the way, for the ads level, always try to have like 3 to 5. You can always have one. But don't go more than 5 idea creators in one ad set, because that will be really hard to manage, and not the best also for the algorithm. So if you have 10 creatives and you want to test them all at the same time, just duplicate the ad set. You will end up with 2 ad sets. Each ad set will have different ad creatives. And now how the testing and scaling usually looks like. So I always keep the ads running for 1 to 3 days. It depends on the budget, but regardless of the budget, regardless of the time, we want to focus on answering this question. Did the ad spend at least 2 times the AOV, like the average order value? Let's say we're selling something for $50, then we need to wait at least to let the ad spend like $100, right? But anything before that, it will be too early, unless you're seeing like really bad numbers from the beginning, like people are not clicking at all, and you already like spend $70 and no one clicked. Then in that case, yes, turn it off. But in most cases, the best idea will be to let the ad run for like 2 times the AOV. But of course, if you're selling something for 1,000 or so, then you don't have to wait that much. Like in that case, it will be enough to spend like a few hundreds. Let's say you're selling it for 1,000. If you spend like a few hundreds and you didn't see any traction, then in that case, you can turn it off. But let's go back to that example of 50. Let's say it spends 2 times the AOV. Then if the answer is yes, then we answer, we ask ourselves, did it get a sale? And from there we go further. But if they didn't spend the 2 times the AOV, then we let it spend more. We keep it for 1 day to stay alive. And then from there we make decisions. So did it get the sale? If yes, then we double the budget. If no, then we turn off and analyze. Here, by the way, you don't have to double the budget. Like if you have at 50, you don't necessarily have to double it to 100. This is the way I like to do it, because I want to get data faster, to make this, to scale the ad faster. But you don't have to do that. So if you have it at $50, you can scale it to 70 or 80, depends on what your budget is. And then you wait a few more days and ask yourself, did the ad get more profitable sales? If the answer is yes, then you scale the budget by 30% or you double the budget, depends on your feeling on how well this ad can work. But 30% as daily scale is a safe option, especially if you keep getting profitable sales, then you go in that way. But if you didn't get more sales and you slow down on spend and you wait a few more days, if you didn't get any more profitable sales, then in that case, you need to turn off the ad and start with the analyzing of the entire thing. I'm going to show you now in a bit how you can analyze the creative. But here, after, like I say, yes, it got more sales and keeps scaling by 30%, then in that case, we ask ourselves, did the ad generate at least 10 profitable sales? If yes, then we duplicate it in the scaling campaign. I'm going to show you how the scaling campaign setup look like. If no, then we let it spend until it reaches 10 sales. If not, turn off or keep at low budget based on your ROAS. You need to also keep in mind that not every ad that you're going to make is going to be super scalable. Some ads are good to have in the account on low budget, because they will be doing like good touch points during your sales cycle. During your customer sales cycle. So they will act more like as a middle of the funnel creative, which is something that more about like product aware or something like that. So keep them on a low if they keeps doing well on that low budget. But if they're not doing any well, even on low budget, then you need to turn them off and start analyzing. The scaling campaign is very simple. Like it's sometimes you go with the Advantage Plus campaign. It's one type of the campaigns Facebook and other platforms offers. Some platforms call them different. But yeah, we make like one campaign, and in this campaign, you will have only one ad set. And in this ad set, you go like abroad, you put your targeting, and here the budget will be higher, like from 500 to 1,000 plus. And in this campaign, we will have only the winning creatives we got from this testing campaign. So anything that works here and got at least 10 sales, 10 profitable sales, you can start duplicating to this campaign. And by the way, you can always keep scaling in the testing campaign, like continuing with this approach by scaling 30% daily. But if you have this campaign as well, like as scaling campaign, that will open more scale for your account. And for those creators that didn't do well, so how we can analyze them. So I'm going to try to keep this short. So we always need to ask ourselves the 3 questions while analyzing the ad. Did the ad grab their attention and stop the users from scrolling on social media? Here we have 2 metrics we can, like 2 KPIs we can use to see if that's happening or not. You need to build these KPIs in the ad accounts, like usually Facebook or other platforms don't really have them by default. But this is how, for example, 1 second retention look like, video plays divided by impressions. And here we want to aim for 90% plus. And then we have the hook rate. So how many people at least watch 3 seconds of the video. This is the formula, like 3 second plays divided by impressions. And here we want to aim for 30%. And yeah, by the way, here we just want to know how many people are at least watching the first second. That's why we are aiming for 9%, because if that's not happening, then we really have a big problem in the messaging, or like what we're showing in the ad on social media. And then here, the second question is, did the ad hold their attention after the hook? So after the 3 seconds, here also we have a couple of metrics like hold rate, how many people watch at least 15 seconds of the ad. Here we want to aim for 20%. And for the average view time, we want to aim for 4 seconds. Anything less than 3 seconds is really bad. And Facebook or any other platform will make your life more harder. They will increase your CPMs, like the cost to reach 1,000 impression. It will get higher because Facebook is seeing what you are trying to advertise, or like what you're trying to show to the people is not really a good fit on social media. And at the end of the day, the social media platform want to keep their users more active on their platforms. So they will actually reward you if you have creatives that getting higher watch time. And then, of course, did the ad spark interest? So here, our metric is CTR. So how many people are actually clicking on the ad? Here, we want to aim for more than 1%. And then, of course, like, did the ad make them buy or not? So we can analyze the conversion rate, CPA, and the return on ad spend. And this is how it looks in the ad account. So you can see this ad here, for example, it's got 91% 1 second retention. The amount spent is like 5K, almost 6K. Hook rate is 50%, almost 50. Hold rate, 20%. Video average play time is 5 seconds. CTR is below the average in the account and below the benchmark, but it's still fine because all other metrics are good. So we can keep telling, okay, this ad is good. Conversion rate is 5%. Cost per purchase is 27. And here we have a return on ad spend of almost 2. So we know for this brand, the break-even return on ad spend is 1.4. So this ad is very profitable. So that's why we spent this much on it. Another example here, for the same brand, you can see 1 second retention is 91%. So that's good. Amount spent is also good. This has already spent 2 times the AOV or even more. Hook rate is 35%, also above average. Hold rate is very low, is 8.9. And video average play time is 6 seconds. So that's not bad, but the CTR is only 6%. Usually, if you have a bad hold rate, so how many people are watching at least 15 seconds of your ad, then you will also have a low CTR, and then the entire thing will be bad. So you can see conversion rate is fine, but the cost per purchase is $40, while we have it here as 27. And here we have a 1.3 or like 1.23 ROAS, while here we have a 2 ROAS. So that's a big difference. By the way, if your conversion rate is low, no matter what you do on your ads, then it's most likely an issue with your offer or your buying experience. So you need to work on that more, especially if the CTR and all these other numbers are good and you tried different stuff, different messaging, but your conversion rate is very low. Then in that case, it's more likely the offer or the buying experience thing. And for the hold rate, in this case, how we analyze this ad and how we know, okay, what we need to change, we have a hold rate of 8.9. You can always go to, let's say, Facebook. You can click on view chart. And then you can see the entire chart of the ad, like when the drop is happening. Actually, like here, for example, we're seeing the biggest drop is happening after the second 6. We can click on that and we can see the exact visual we're showing, like the script we're showing here. And here we used a stock footage, and usually using stock footage in ads doesn't really work that well. And that was the reason. So when we changed that, this exact clip, the ad performed way much better. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys.